Hi, welcome to Inspiring Women in Travel Asia, another series of interviews. And today we are I'm very delighted and excited to have Sukeerti from New Delhi, India today with us. And she's this amazing human being. We just had a quick chat before the recording of today's interview. And I'm really interested to know more. We got really chatty early on, and I'm really excited to ask. So firstly, I would like to ask Sukeerti, welcome to our episode of Inspiring Women in Travel Asia, Travel Daily.
Thank you so much, Sumi. Thank you so much for having me today. And I'm really looking forward to our conversation.
Exactly. So tell me about Soulful Safaris. So Sukeerti is the curator of the Soulful Safaris, and I'm keen to learn more about it. It's a newly formed organization, not so new maybe. And let's hear about how and what she does and what Soulful Safari is all about, and how did she come about creating this wonderful organization. Take it away.
Thank you. Thank you. I have been a travel professional for as far as I remember, both by education and by passion. I worked in various verticals of the tourism industry, from destination discovery, product research, itineraries curation, sales and marketing. So almost in all verticals of the industry. And then I also had opportunity to work in philanthropy and CSR space. And that probably uh, planted seeds of Soulful Safaris. And then I curated Soulful Safaris earlier this year that offers the transformational and cultural tours at the intersection of sustainable and luxury travel. I offer bespoke journeys, wildlife tours, transformational experiences, photography tours, gastronomy, and probably everything what a DMC would do. However, we have a mission. We are a mission-driven company. Our mission is well-being, well-being of the planet, well-being of the communities, and well-being of the self. We are very mindful in designing our programs and executing it. We do not want experiences to be just for the travelers. We want it to be beneficial for the communities and the host who are delivering the experiences. So we are committed to offer plastic free to travel. We want our experiences to be led by communities and women. We want to include nature conservation and cultural preservation in our itineraries. We are very particular about fair pay in the tourism industry. And also we want to ensure that the tourism dollars are given back in the destination and it is used for destination regeneration. We also have a very clearly defined roadmap of impact that we want to create in our communities, in our destinations, from heritage awareness sessions to conservation outreach program to women empowerment projects and preservation of cultural heritage. These are some of the pillars that we want to support as we grow in our journey.
That's really great. So, Kirti, so Soulful Safari, as I understand it, you're the sole entrepreneur in this organization. So, these values and mission that you have for your organization, is that a personal mission that you have for yourself and value that you want, and you want to create this for the community? Like, how did this transformation come? And I know that you've always been in hospitality and tourism industry, having worked in travel in the past as well, curating tours and travel experience. So what made this change that is mindful, that is, in a way giving back to the community as well in everything that you do, and at the same time give the best guest experience that you can offer? So why this change? Because how old is Soulful Safaris?
I dated Soulful Safaris during pandemic and officially registered in May 2022. So it's a new baby.
Right, exactly. So and with post pandemic as well, you must have seen changes that you want to see in the world. So what drove you to have this very focused career journey?
Yeah, I can go back and talk about from where I come. That will give you a better understanding of Soulful Safaris and my vision for the industry. So I grew up in a small town in India, in central India, and during that time, my father was working in a very remote area. We had the opportunity to go and visit indigenous communities from very close counters, and we knew their culture was so rich, from art, their crafts, their textiles, their food. Everything was very unique. And my father would bring a lot of artifacts from the communities, and our home was like a small museum that brought me really close to the culture and diversity of this country. And since the very, very beginning, I love about Indian culture. But as I grew, like many Indian families, we have, when it comes to higher education, we have very limited choices, especially at that time. Most of the people were focused on engineering and science or civil services. So that was like my family also wanted me to pursue one of these streams. But fortunately or unfortunately, I didn't get through any of those entrance exams. And since I didn't get through any of those entrance exams, so I didn't know what to do in my post graduation after studying science in graduation. So the one option was I was about to get married. Like my father said, okay, she let her get married, and so. But then I saw an advertisement in the newspaper that talked about this tourism course that was for 1 year, and I thought, okay, let me. It is just for 1 year, not very expensive. I can ask my father to pursue him to let me do this course, and he did agree. I did that course for 1 year, and then life's changed.
Wow. So what changed during that course of the time? And how old were you then?
I was uh, I was 21-year-old, just right after my graduation, or 22-year-old. And then after I did my course, I wanted to go back to the area where I did my schooling. And fortunately, I did get a job with the tourism board of that area. I worked there for 2 years. And the best part in my career, in all my journey, was meeting amazing people. I met two amazing people. They are still part of my life now. And I all thought, oh my God, the life is so much beyond everything. I can do so
Exactly.
much. And they planted seeds of dreaming big in me.
Yeah.
I worked there for close to 2 years, and then I came back to Delhi. My mentors suggested me that I can also go back to Delhi, big city, and see how the main tourism industry works. So I worked there. I came back to Delhi, worked in the industry, in the mainstream industry, for a very long time until 2012. And then that time, my son was born in 2012, and I took a sabbatical. And when I took a sabbatical, when I returned to my job, I found it little difficult to manage the work-life balance. I loved my job. My bosses were very supportive, but I still could not manage those long hours at the work. I decided to take a pause. But my earlier boss, he was very keen that I should not quit my job. And he persuaded, okay, don't quit your job, look for something else, look for a part-time job, something. Don't just quit, because you never know when you need money and to grow in your life and your career. I took his advice. I did resign, but soon after my resignation, the same company offered me a different role in philanthropy and CSR, which was a part-time role, and I happily accepted it. It was a new field for me, coming from a tourism background to philanthropy and CSR. I didn't knew anything about that subject. But in my career and in my journey, I met amazing people. And when I looked up to them, I always feel that if they can do, I can also do. I was very open to learning, unlearning, and relearning. I did some courses in philanthropy and CSR. I understood the subject, did networking with some people from the CSR and philanthropy space, and then worked in CSR and philanthropy for 3 years. That time, I was working directly with the communities, and I was interacting with local communities and hosts. I saw a different picture of tourism. What I was doing for the last 15 years in my mainstream tourism journey, that was very extractive tourism that was doing no good to the communities. For example, I mean, I was a mother also then, so I could, my lens were different. I was very sensitive about everything around me. I really wanted no harm for my child, so that nature ingrained in me also, that I wanted no harm in any way for anybody. And then when I saw tourism that I was doing before was actually spoiling the communities, was spoiling the children. The travelers had their intentions were not good, but probably they were not educated about it. In the sense that for them to click pictures, it was very easy to give some gifts to the children and the communities to get some good pictures. That inculcated habit of begging in the children, and travelers never realize that the candies or the gifts and the habit of begging that is forming in the children is impact, it will be create a very negative impact in the long run. So those circumstances taught me that, okay, I cannot do tourism like this. I have to think differently. That planted seeds of Soulful Safaris, and then pandemic happened.
Right, right. It's so interesting. I mean, you touched on so many points that help, not just women, but younger generation, and also anyone in their at any point of their career, having good mentors, people who believe in you, that will push your limits, and knowing what you're capable of doing. I think it's really important that we get the encouragement, and also people that have already walked through that journey, that knows what to expect, and prepare us of what we could potentially do, that will have that work-life balance. Yeah, so definitely it sounds like that priority in life also changed when your child was born, and how you view the world. That also impacts, I guess, in your development of creating this organization, Soulful Safari. So it's all very meaningful as well. And would you also say that each of your phases in your journey is impacted from different I guess impact in your life, right? Like changing careers, having different mentors that will push you in different direction, and also having a child. I mean, I think for a woman particularly, having that work-life balance is never easy, and work can get demanding. Hospitality never stops, you know. So, and finding that balance that work for you, your child, and also for the work that you create, so you feel rewarding. It's never an easy task. So how do you manage and find time? I mean, running your own organization is also pretty demanding.
It is demanding. So I have told my son that, he is now 10-year-old, and he is inspiration for everything that I do. And I did tell him that, like, I have put so much of time in you. Now I'm creating another baby. So I'm supporting you, and I'm supporting this another baby also. So I will take care of you, both of you. And he is like now 10-year-old. He understands that. And since, is uh, tourism is not just about creating itineraries, it helps us in our personal development also. So, like, whenever I'm traveling in Delhi doing Reiki, my son is part of my journey, and he does travel with me. So for him also, it's a nice experience. So far, I'm able to manage as an entrepreneur, as a independent person. I think it is demanding, but then I'm able to do it. And also, like as a as I'm working independently, I know that when I have to work, like when he is off to school, I do most of my work, and then when he slept in the evening, I do most of my work. And also, I have seen a shift in the travelers and the demand from the B2B operators. Like, I have worked in an era where the B2B operators were very demanding. But now I think the operators that I work with, they really have that empathy on everything that they do. They understand that we are speaking to a person behind. So there is a work-life balance. So far, all my partners with whom I am working, they're extremely cooperative. And then they understand that, when she will get back to us. That understanding with the partners is there.
Yeah, and I also agree with you. You know, times have changed, and especially after COVID, there is this whole digital nomad, mindset, working in your own space in your own time, and having that time with family as well during lockdowns and isolation. That really made us realize, we could do both, and just about managing our time well. And I think, and also I think it's very admirable what you do as well, including your child in the work that you do, which is very meaningful because he will also see how you're giving back to the community in your daily operations, and you're creating a role model for him, which he will then take with him when he grows up and remember. So you are creating memories, and and a good role model to your son, which is not always easy to do as well. And having the profession that you have the flexibility to engage him and also include him in your travels, it's very admirable. So well done on that. Not many people
Thank
could say
you.
that.
Thank you.
Excellent. Um so what do you have plans for Soulful Safari? So it's a young baby, and where do you see the future of that going? And will it be expanding? Will you looking at, like, multi countries? What are your vision?
When I started Soulful Safaris, I was very excited about everything that I want to make it the first impact focused DMC of India. And I'm very excited about it, but I know that the road is bumpy. There are a lot of challenges ahead. So I want to go a little slow. I want to have my supply chain right. Once my supply chain is right, I can have more clients, and we can create an impactful experiences wherever the clients are going. So yes, definitely I am growing. I am doing my best to attract new clients for my business, but at the same time I'm very mindful of who to attract, who to bring in my business, so that at least in the initial years of my operations, I have the right people supporting my business, so we can all grow together and create an impact.
Great. Yeah, you talked about people and growing. Tell me a little bit more about your mentors in your life, the people that helped shaped your career journey. I'm really interested to know. And what are the important life lessons that they've taught you?
Yes, sure. You, in the screen, you see Sukeerti and Soulful Safaris. But honestly, the Soulful Safaris is formed only because of my mentors who really guided me in each step. And throughout my career, I met amazing people. I am what I am today only because of people who came in my life and my career. And even even the first business that I got through my mentors, was from my friends, for my reference. They Everybody believed in my vision of creating an impactful travel company. They supported me, they guided me, they really helped me and directed me. So I'm really thankful to all my mentors. And talking about life lessons, they gave me that, they always told me to dream big. And sometimes, when we are dreaming big, we get very nervous how things will happen, how things will happen. So every time that question comes to me, I know I have to talk to my mentor and just vent out. So they will say, okay, well, this is just a phase, it will pass away. So yes, having right mentors in my life has been the best thing to me.
Amazing. I couldn't agree more. I have a few mentors as well, and I'm really lucky to be in a position where each of my career journey, I've met amazing people that helps me along the way. And each person have a different thing that they bring into your lives. So not, there's no mentors, two mentors the same. They each have
Yeah.
different values to share. So I'm also interested to know, so what advice you would give to the uh, next generation in terms of building their career and what they desire, their big dreams. What would you advise them?
Yeah. As a woman, to my fellow women and men, I would tell them to invest in yourself, which I did at a very later stage in my career. Only when pandemic happened, I had the time to think about redesigning my career, and then I decided to learn and unlearn. So I tell all other people to invest in yourself, network, find the right courses for you that can help you grow in your career, and then be open to suggestions. Like for me, I'm always open for suggestions that helps me to redefine everything what I'm doing with Soulful Safaris. So my one big suggestion is to invest in yourself and find good mentors. I'm also part of, and the sisterhood is amazing. When you find right people, they really support you, and there is no competition, and everything becomes a collaboration. So find right collaborators. My advice would be to
Exactly.
find right collaborators.
Yes, I also agree with you, because I think the support system is really important, and you want to be with like-minded people that would lift each other and would inspire each other as well. So I think having the right group of people that you mingle with is really important to also keep you stimulated from time to time. We physically and mentally, emotionally need that as well. So I also want to know, like, sometimes making change is not easy, especially when we have commitments and children involved. So with any change, it's scary, and particularly when it involves, income stream and things that will impact us. How do you deal with change? And I know it's not easy each of the way. How do you try to make it easy for you?
That's a very difficult thing to talk about because I have gone through a lot of changes, doing a mainstream tourism and then suddenly doing philanthropy and CSR, which wasn't easy for me at all in the beginning. But being open-minded about the new things coming your way help us to think in a better way. And I would also say that our pre-decided notions about anything sometimes held us back from accepting changes. So when I shifted from mainstream tourism to philanthropy, most of the people I know who worked with me and my colleagues, they were like, oh, what are you doing? You're working for an NGO. Why are you leaving your luxury lifestyle and going to working with an NGO? Because my friends who were in the tourism, in the luxury tourism, they had all the benefits of the luxury travel industry. But I was traveling in, I was going to grassroots organizations. It was very different. But if I was not open to that change, I would have not been here what I am today. I would have not curated Soulful Safaris, what I have done today. So I think we have to be acceptable to the change. And sometimes when we are in that changing phase, we just have to accept it and not make any decisions and not being very judgmental about it, not really think about the positive and negatives of it, just be in the change in that phase and see where it takes you. With that mindset, I think change is easy.
Yeah, exactly. I think, each one of us work in very different way. And a lot of the times you just got to go with, your gut feeling, what feels right for you. And you've got to be comfortable with it as well with any change is not easy. But I think having that fear also goes to say that, you will take that risk to have a go at it. If you never try, you will never know. And then you just end up just wondering what
Exactly.
ifs. So
Exactly.
no, that's really good. Thank you very, very much, Sukeerti. I mean, I'm very inspired by you and all the changes, because I myself sometimes, get stuck in the change world because of the fear of the unknown. But sometimes, you just got to take the plunge. They also say sometimes one door closes, but three other doors will open, and you just got to have an open mind, and then things will happen to you.
Exactly.
So before we wrap up, I would like to know, what is your I guess motto in life that you hang quite closely with, that you use all the time? Like for me, I always think, like, to stay positive, and I think we get stressed in a lot of circumstances, and keeping a positive mind is really important, because I think that manifests positive things as well. So I get stressed quite easily sometimes, and usually it's over unnecessary or things that are a little not worth sweating about. So I have this saying that I keep telling myself in those situations is, do not sweat the small things. So what's one thing that you I guess hold a mantra on?
Every time I am in a situation where it's very difficult for me to take a decision, or I'm very stressed out, or something is not going as planned, I always I always follow one mantra. Take a pause. Take a pause. That is my mantra. Take a pause and rethink. Something will come up. Take a step back and start again.
That is so true. And sometimes we just got to sleep on it and come back to it, because, there's no point rushing into things or be impulsive when we don't have the right state of mind. No, that's very wise. Thank
Yeah.
you very much, Sukeerti. And I appreciate you taking the time out of your very busy schedule to do this interview.
Thank you so much, Sumi. Thank you for having me today. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. And we'll keep in touch. Have a good day.
Looking forward to you too.
See
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.